Hello. Are you a fan of magic, witchcraft, and wizardry? Did you read the Harry Potter books and now you don't know what to read next? Well, if that's you, I have 3 books that are perfect. Well, actually, 3 series, but I'm going to show you the first book in each series. These books are perfect for ages 7 to 11, or even older. And they have strong themes of magic, spells, or magical creatures. These books are Magic, the first book in the Septimus Heap series by Angie Sage. Fablehaven, the first book in the series by Brandon Mull. And The Apothecary, the first book in a duo by Maylee Malloy. Is family important to you? Well, it sure is to Silas Heap, his wife Sarah, and their kids. In Magic by Angie Sage. A magical fantasy book. On the night that his 7th son Septimus is said to have died in childbirth by the midwife, Silas Heap finds a abandoned baby girl with violet eyes left out in the snow. He and his wife decide to raise her as their own and name her Jenna, teaching her the ways of magic since the schools no longer teach it. On her 10th birthday, Jenna discovers that she is in fact a lost princess, and joined by a wizard named Marcia and a young soldier named only Boy 412, Jenna and her family flee from an assassin sent after her, a terrifying foe known only as the Hunter, who's introduced on page 1 like this. The Hunter listened intently for sounds rising up from the water, but all he heard was the silence that the blanketing of snow brings. He scanned the water for clues. Perhaps a shadow under the banks, a startled bird, a telltale ripple, but he could see nothing. Nothing. It was strangely quiet and still. The dark river silently winding through the bright snowy landscape lit by the shimmer of the full moon. It was, thought the Hunter, a perfect night for a hunt. The Hunter stood immobile, tense, waiting for the sighting to show itself to him, watching and waiting. Something caught his eye. A white face at the window of the cafe. A frightened face. A face that knew something. The Hunter smiled. He had a sighting. He was back on the trail. The family works together to survive and fight the threat, and find out that their lost son Septimus might not have died as a baby after all. Magic is an action-packed, humor-filled fantasy following kids as they discover their magical abilities and are tracked down by evil forces and a corrupt government. As the chapters unfold, new magic spells are revealed, similar to Harry Potter being taught new spells at Hogwarts throughout the year. Magic will make your heart pound, make you laugh, and show you an image of faithful family relationships. Angie Sage is a master world builder and storyteller. She will make you want to keep reading until the very end, where she gives you small blurbs about what happens to some of the characters after the last page, and these are very funny to read. She also includes pages of magical spells and recipes at the end, which are super fun to explore after you've finished reading. In total, there are 7 books in the Septimus Heap series by Angie Sage, providing a ton of magical reading. Have you ever looked at the world and thought that there's more to it than meets the eye? Have you ever wanted to step into a place filled with magical creatures, fairies, curses, witches, and more? Well, that's exactly the situation that Kendra and her brother Seth find themselves in when they're sent to stay with their grandfather at his estate in Fablehaven by Brandon Mull. This is a quote from an early chapter in which Kendra and Seth discover the magical realities of the world. Kendra turned. All she saw was a butterfly and a couple of hummingbirds. She looked back at Seth. He was turning in circles, eyes darting around the garden, apparently perplexed and amazed. "They're everywhere," he said in awe. "What are?" "Look around. The fairies." Kendra stared at her brother. Could the milk have totally fried his brain? Or was he messing around with her? He didn't appear to be faking. He He was over by a rose bush, gazing at a butterfly in wonder. Tentatively, he reached a hand toward it, but it fluttered out of reach. Kendra and Seth discover that their grandfather is a caretaker for magical creatures and powerful beings, hidden and kept secret from most of the humans. Despite warnings from their grandfather, Kendra and Seth can't help but explore this new world. Their curiosity drives them forward. What do you think you would do if you were put in a situation like this? If you found out that magical creatures really do exist and you were told not to do anything about it? I think it would be hard not to be curious, don't you think? But they end up breaking rules and unleashing powerful evil, and it is up to them to save the world. Fablehaven is a fantastical story which features magical creatures from many different legends, fables, and myths. It brings these together into an enchanting world that any reader will want to dive into. Brandon Mall continues to raise the stakes and capture the imagination in every chapter of this book. Similar to Harry Potter, Fablehaven describes a magical world hidden from normal society. It inspires imagination and wonder and truly begs the reader to look upon nature with new eyes. Fablehaven is the first in 5 books which follow Kendra and Seth. There's also a sequel series called Dragon Watch, which further explores this world. There's more than enough wit, humor, action, and magic packed into these pages for any magic lover in Fablehaven by Brandon Mall. If you like books that take place back in time and have underground societies of magic users, Apothecary by Maylee Malloy is for you. This book takes place in 1952 and follows Janie Scott after her family moves to London from Los Angeles. It's there in London that Janie meets Benjamin, the son of an apothecary. If you don't know what an apothecary is, I don't blame you. An apothecary is an old-fashioned pharmacist who sells drugs and medicines. But Janie soon finds out that there might be more to Benjamin's father than meets the eye, and more than just selling medicines, when he's kidnapped and leaves behind a magical ancient book called the Pharmacopoeia in the care of her and Benjamin. The two kids are suddenly surrounded by enemies and must make new magic potions that they never could believe existed in order to keep the book from them. The book starts with a note to the reader from Janie, saying that the memories recorded in this book of her time in London might not be 100% perfect, because her memories were wiped. Thankfully, she had kept a journal recording all of the events, which she used to piece together the events recorded in the book. This begs the question, how was her memory wiped? And you'll have to read until the very end to find out. Sprinkled throughout this book are beautiful and interesting illustrations by Ian Shower, which help you immerse the reader into the magical world found in its pages. The Apothecary is a fascinating tale of history, magic, danger, friendship, and time. How would you react if you were up against an enemy that used time itself as a weapon? Would you be able to find a way to cheat time and save the world? Well, find out in Maylee Malloy's first title in the Apothecary series. As you can see, if you have finished reading Harry Potter and you want more to read that are similar, there are many options for you. There are so many more than even what I showed you today, and I have a link in the description of this video with a full list of some titles that you can check out if you love magic and want something new to read. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you check out these books at your local library and that you enjoy reading, and have a magical rest of your day.